What up, everybody? JP Finlay, Redskins Talk Podcast. We are back. Mitch Tischler, Pete Hailey. I am at my house. We haven't had just kind of a regular podcast in a while. We've had a ton of interviews, and we've all been on the move. So it's good. We're just going to do a good old-fashioned three of us making fun of each other, talking Redskins football. As always, we're brought to you by the good people, Oarsman Automotive of Virginia. I ride with them. Hope you do the same. Actually, this is crazy. We're going to start right here. I got my Toyota 4Runner from Oarsman Fairfax Toyota 3 days before December 27th, 2019. Okay? So Christmas time, New Year's time, whatever you want to call that stretch. Bowl week is what I might call it when you got a million college bowl games on.
I miss those days.
More than you can imagine. December 27th, 2019. Today is June 7th. That sound right?
Yes.
June 7th, 2020. How many miles do you think I have put on that vehicle in 6 months?
Did you drive it down in North Carolina?
Did not. So Lauren's car is better for the dog. The dog dictates what car we drive. That's the kind of universe we live in. So no, I did not. So, but I mean, that would have been what? 400 miles?
Yeah.
I don't know, 500?
I think you've put 6,000 miles on it in six months.
Peter? Well, hold on. Before we ask Pete, how many miles do you think a person puts on their car on average? Do you have any baseline for this?
I'm glad Mitch said 6,000 because I was going to say like 20,000 or so. So I couldn't know how to trying to set this up. Yeah, I don't know anything about cars as I've demonstrated about APR financing and leasing. But normal mileage in a year for someone, 15, 20,000 commuting to work?
No, that's a lot, dude. Okay. Normal mileage is like 12,000. So I leased my 4Runner, and the standard lease I think is either 10 or 12,000 miles a year.
Okay, so normally you'd be at about 6K if this was a normal year because you're at half, but it's
6,000 was the right guess from the big man.
Okay, I was going to say 3.
2,760 miles in 6 months.
I don't say. Nice.
And you guys know I love just driving. I love getting in the car, blaring music, and just driving around and drinking big gulps, honestly, because my wife won't let me have them in the house. So I'll go get a big gulp and a bag of Cheetos and drive around for a half hour.
That's why I guess 6,000.
I'm not going anywhere. The only place I'm going is effing crazy. You got to let me go somewhere, man.
And that's why I guess 6,000, because I know you love just driving around, especially with 2 kids, the dog, the wife at home all the time. I figured you were going out for those little half-hour respites, you know.
Even with that, dude, think about it. We'd be driving to Ashburn every day, or you know what I mean. I'm going crazy, and dude, I haven't even gotten an oil change on the car. I have the car 6 months. It's not even ready for an oil change.
Pete, how many miles do you have to go between oil changes?
I want to go get an oil change.
JP has a crazed look in his eye, and it's kind of terrifying.
I'm telling you, man.
How many miles between oil changes?
I know this. I know you want an oil change about every 3 months or 1,500 miles. Maybe?
It's like every 3,000 miles.
God damn it. I hate this. I know nothing about cars. It's my grandma's car. Leave me alone.
But, dude, the dumbest part about what you just said is that we just told you that it's 12,000 miles in a year. And you said you need to go every 3 months. So I'm not a math guy, but that's pretty basic math to figure out.
I'm not sitting here to do the oil change equation on Redskins Talk. I just am guessing.
I also just told you that I have 2,700 miles on my car and don't need an oil change yet.
Yeah, I know. I'm not paying attention. I'm sorry. Cars, I just don't care about cars. I don't care about trucks. I don't care about a lot of things that a lot of men just care about. I'm sorry. I don't. It doesn't interest me. Don't care about hardware or tools or anything.
Domesticated Pete.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get into the show here. I have an idea. I feel like people could use fun things in their life. I almost just lost it about my car. Yeah. Pete said, was that a Snapchat? Were we snapping with one another the other night?
Depends what we're talking about.
I guess neither of you remember. Generally, when we're Snapchatting, it's because it's illicit and we don't want to put it on a text thread or the Instagram. Yeah. So, yes, boys, we were Snapchatting the other night. You guys were sending me pictures of your activities while I was home home with children.
Yep.
And Michigan Pete told us he was on a journey and that the big man was with him, and he had his Mitch T-shirt on, the shirt from Germany, from Oktoberfest. I am thinking, I think I'm going to call Megan Clifford. I think we're gonna get 50 of those ready and available to be sold.
That would make a lot of people happy. Those people, every time we wear those or tweet about them, there is a mass of people lining up. They yearn for that shirt. So that's an unbelievable idea. They yearn for Mitch on their chest.
People are yearning for Mitch on their chest. Wow. All right. A little serious stuff. The last episode was different for us. We kind of tackled current events. It was important. I'm actually really pleased with the episode, and I'm pleased with the feedback because we've gotten some feedback that's positive, some feedback that's negative. Some people think we did a lot. Some people think we didn't do enough. And generally, that's where you want to be. Like, if everybody says it was bad, then it was bad. If everybody says it was good, then it probably wasn't good. Like, you want to hear it from all sides. So I'm happy with that. We've also been getting just a ton of reviews and feedback, and Pete does a great job of kind of looking through those. And I want to just say thank you to everybody that's been leaving them, sincerely.
We read them.
It's fun. Yeah,
we look at them.
Pete put one on the Instagram.
Our group text thread is often reviews and different comments that we've gotten on different social medias that we are sending to each other. So we see you, and we thank you guys for all that.
Also, Pete, I'm giving you a heads up here. Find the tweet from the guy that drove from Norfolk to buy a car from Oarsman. That's pretty awesome.
On it. Good call.
Here's some good news too. I'm full of good news today. Ron Rivera is back at Redskins Park. It is such a minor, incredibly small thing, but in the wake of everyone's locked at home all the time, it feels cool. And we posted a video of it on NBCSportsWashington.com. You can check it out. Maybe that was a Redskins. I assume it's a Redskins.com video that we bootlegged or whatever. But Ron looks pretty jacked. One, I don't know, the way he was wearing his bag was pretty cool. But football is coming, man. And I get the question I get most, and it's weird because I'm not like bumping into people because everybody's staying away. And normally that's like where I am, is I talk to people a lot. But the question I get most from like just people on the street or whatever is, do you really think football's coming back? And I'm saying this with conviction. Yes, I think football's coming back. Yeah, they're going to get to see what happens with hockey, what happens with baseball. Baseball is so stupid. I meant to say basketball. Baseball is so dumb. They're going to mess around and ruin a season when they could have been the ultimate uniter. Everybody would have been watching those games, but they are so dumb. I don't care if you take the player side or the owner side or whatever. They're dumb. Let me be clear about that. D-U-M-B, dumb. Anyway, I'm very fired up today. I don't know where
you are so moody. Oh my God, I'm exhausted.
I saw you got a ride on the bike this morning. You shouldn't be that mad.
What the hell? Yeah. You're so wound up right now.
Pete, I am. I'm drinking my coconut water, which you guys always make fun of me. And frankly, I should probably put some vodka in here just to calm things down a little bit.
Guess what, JP?
What?
In the back seat of my car the other day, as I started to clean it out, which, as you guys know, doesn't happen almost ever.
That car is a train wreck.
There's tennis balls and tennis rackets and shampoo back there.
There was a 7-Eleven bag. There was a 7-Eleven bag with a empty pizza container, a big gulp, a couple things of crackers, and
my peanut butter crackers.
And
I left that in your car when we played golf.
And like 4 of your Bai coconut waters.
Ew.
Well, did you throw it out, or are you going to bring it over?
I threw it out, except for the crackers. Those didn't go out.
The orange ones, the good ones?
There was a fruit bar, one of the white crackers with peanut butter, and then an orange with peanut butter.
Fruit bar was not JP. Must have been someone else.
No, dude, I've been kind barring it lately.
Yeah, it was a kind bar.
They're growing on me. Well, I wish you had brought that over instead of throwing it out, Mitch. But I guess I shouldn't have left it in your car for 2 months. I mean, when was that round of golf? That was 6 weeks ago?
The coconut waters are from an accumulation of the months over the year.
Read that tweet, Pete, and then let's get down to business.
Yeah,
so everybody knows. Go ahead.
Just echo what you're saying. Nice to see coaches are back. It came on the heels of us learning we aren't going to Richmond, which was kind of a downer. So then seeing Ron and the guys back in Ashburn at least kind of picked me up a little bit.
Real quick before you read that, Pete. How dumb, like, those, like, a lot of times people are posting videos of, like, whatever with football. Like, 4 coaches walking in a front door should be the dumbest video, like, in the NFL. And yet somehow I was like, I watched it and I was like getting jacked. I was like all into it. Ron had his custom face mask.
Ron, Matt.
And like just seeing Redskins Park again, which I would have never thought I would ever miss in my entire life because I spent far too much of my life there. It was cool to see it, and I was excited to see all those dudes walking through the door.
Yeah, it was like when I saw that on Twitter, I ran to terrible Microsoft Teams to make sure we were blogging it. Like, we have to blog the story of the men walking in the building where they work. We must write about it now. Like that's
like
so
the
pathetic.
most mundane, simple thing, and we're like, ugh.
All right, the tweet is from Avery Barnard. He goes, hey, and he tagged us, JP, Mitch, and Pete. Figured I should show you what your boys at Oarsman hooked me up with on Monday. And it's our dude chilling on the front hood of his sick new white whip. I can't even tell what it is, but it's an Oarsman car, and that's all that matters.
I couldn't tell what it was either, but that is so cool. And we kind of went back and forth with him. He drove up from Chesapeake, Virginia, I think, right?
Yeah.
Normally I hate car shopping, but they cut me a fair deal. Got to say, y'all back the right dealership the right horse dealership-wise, and glad they support your work. And yeah, said he 3-hour drive from Chesapeake to buy the Oarsman.
His name is Blake?
Avery,
Close.
Thank you very much. I got to say something about our boy Blake. Avery, thank you. Support the people that support us, man. It's very important. Also, the guy that's in charge of Pete's reads, he kind of botched that one, so I'm looking forward to the next review there.
I did.
So real quick about our boy Blake, we're thinking of you, buddy. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. Let's touch. So we have a pretty serious roster breakdown that's going to start on NBC Sports Washington on Monday and kind of go on for 2 weeks. Not 1, 2 weeks. Thanks, Doolin. But we
our blogs are locked in for the next 6 weeks, JP. We know we're writing every single day.
I can't tell you how impressive this document is that has broken down almost day by day what Pete and JP are going to be writing throughout the rest of the summer. It's incredible.
Yep.
And you know when I'll get most of that work done? About 4 minutes before it's due.
Yeah.
Yep.
But so let's talk. We're going to talk about our roster stuff. Let's touch base quickly on no more Richmond. Not a surprise. I think this was going to happen even if the NFL didn't say no teams are going away for training camp. I don't know that it'll ever go back because if they get a new stadium, I think terms of that deal and build out will be to have training camp there because they're going to try to make it like a theme park mall, like what the Pats have. I don't know if you've ever been up to Foxborough, Pete, but everything is there so that people are coming to these hotels and restaurants all the time. It's kind of the way of new facilities, and I think that's what they're going to hope to build. The only thing I can think of is it's possible if they get a new stadium in Virginia, in Loudoun, they would just keep Redskins Park at Redskins Park because a new stadium in Loudoun's only, it could only be 15 minutes away with a police escort, and then maybe they can keep training camp in Richmond. I'm not sure. I would call that kind of a long shot.
Yeah.
Maybe if Ron is running things for a long, long period of time, means they've had some real success, and maybe Ron wants them to go away and they'll figure something else out. But who knows what's going to happen there. It's a bummer. I always love going down to Richmond. It's a great city. It's cool to interact with all the fans. Obviously, this year is just such a wacky year. Nobody really knows what is going to happen with anything. You can all react, but quickly, what was your first thought when you knew officially Richmond was out?
I'm going to be honest. Marriott hotel points.
Dude, I had that exact same. I was like, damn it, man. That's like 18 nights.
That was personally, that was the
same
first
reaction.
thing.
I texted with Kime. He said the exact same thing.
ZZQ and Buzz and Ned's were the two big misses, because barbecue in the greater Maryland, D.C., Virginia area is rather non-existent compared to the great stuff we get down in Richmond. And you know that I'm a man that's food motivated, so I stick with barbecue.
Yeah, I thought of the hotel courtyard hangouts we usually have, so not Marriott Points, but kind of similar. And then the one thing I won't miss is sitting on those dumb chairs that are 1.5 feet tall, because you have to kneel on the sideline, but you can't stand. So we always have to fight over these chairs to watch practice. Those suck, and they hurt my knees, and they hurt my ass, and they're not comfortable. So I will not miss that, but I'll miss everything else about Richmond, because I loved it, and it was kind of where I started, and it was always fun and useful and exciting. And it was going to be really fun to see how Ron ran things. But hopefully we can do it in Ashburn.
Yeah, let's just hope we still get a ton of access.
Yeah. But the one thing I was going to say about whether we're going to be back in Richmond or not, we have presumably 5 years under Ron. Obviously, in Carolina, they went away to Wofford every year for camp, so he's used to that at minimum, whether he wants to do it or not. The Redskins aren't going to have a new stadium built and ready to go in the next 5 years, so we have 4 more Ron Rivera seasons where who knows what's going to happen. We could be in Richmond, we could be in Frostburg, we could be in Cumberland. God willing, they go out to the Greenbrier. You know, there's a lot of different options
that would be awesome
for where they could go. So it won't be till next offseason, we know, but we'll see what happens then.
Greenbrier. I'll vote for that all day.
Pete's cat is making an appearance, JP. For those of you watching on YouTube, there's a literal cat walking through the middle of the shot.
Oh, cat butt.
Pete is a cat guy. We need to post that on the Instagram, Pete. Also, Pete, can you send me a text real quick just so I can pull up our – actually, never mind. I got it. Okay. I want to thank Oarsman Automotive of Virginia. We ride with them. Want you to do the same thing. Go check out Oarsman Fairfax Toyota. Take care of you with anything you need, man. Leases, they'll wash your car for you. They'll sell your car, all that good stuff. Air horn, you probably should have done this off the top, so let's do it now.
Oh, yeah. Pete, air horn.
Oh, the cat. That got the cat's attention.
Sure did.
What's the cat's name?
Millie. Yeah.
Millie. All right. Banks is in here. Maybe he can go attack that cat.
Just pets everywhere. Oh, Banks is so sweet.
I don't think that Banks is nonplussed with the cat right now.
Banks is chilling. We got a show, kind of. They are putting the 3 of us on the NBC Sports Washington Facebook Live. It'll be Thursday. Do we know Thursday, 5 o'clock? Is that right?
Thursday, 5 o'clock.
Okay. We really got creative with this title. It's Redskins Talk and Friends. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our normal thing where I'll scream about oil changes and Pete will mess up math and have a cat walk around. But we're going to talk Redskins football. We got a very, very good interview lined up for our first show Thursday at 5. And then we're going to talk a little bit just about DC sports in general. So we got the Wiz, the Caps are coming back. The Nats are not. I won't yell about that again. But there is now we got cat butt on the screen.
Yeah.
There is plenty to discuss. It's going to be a lot of fun Thursday at 5. You guys know me. I don't like doing poorly at things. So I've been trying to figure out what they want to see us accomplish so I can set forth to accomplish that. But here's what I know. We need you guys all to watch and comment. And then Pete's going to comment back to all of you. Right, Pete?
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. Just because we don't put me in charge of interacting with people enough. So I should do more of that. Yeah.
We're also going to answer some questions. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to talk about the topics you guys want to bring up and stuff like that. So be there, comment, let us know what you guys want us to hear us talk about.
I'll make a promise. Here, I'll go on the record. By midnight Thursday night, I will reply to every comment addressed to me during the show.
I think that's smart. Like, it might be hard during the show, but
right, because we got a lot of moving parts.
Sure. Yeah, I like that. And I'll do the same. I will do the same.
How about
How come Mitch isn't doing the same?
Yeah, Mitch just
because it's a given. It's a given that I'm going to do that. I'm a man of the people.
Sure,
it's a given. It's a given, Pete.
All right. Normally, after we do anything live, we do a off-the-record Q&A. Each week, JP will answer one off-the-record question on the record.
No, I won't. I definitely will not.
Oh, well.
Mr. It's a Given.
Try to sneak it in there.
Yep.
All right. So Thursday, 5 o'clock. Be there. We need you to watch it. Okay. Let's talk about these rosters, man. So we're going to rank the Redskins roster by position group because we all know where the strengths are up top. And I think we know at the bottom pretty clearly. But everything in the middle is really up for debate. So we came up with this idea, and then Pete and I had to kind of text back and forth to figure out how we wanted to like roll out the specific blog posts. So Pete and I had to make our list independent of each other, and then we had to send them to one another. And what was really remarkable is that our lists were damn near identical. And so what I'm thinking now is we just run through our entire list. I can go then. Actually, let's have Mitch go because we haven't heard. Pete and I now know each other's lists, but we haven't heard Mitch's yet. And if I know the big man, it's going to be more different than Pete and I.
He was giving me a preview. It's definitely different. And I did some minor tweaks to mine, JP, once I saw, we weren't going to have to come up with a consensus. Once I saw we could each do our own, I tweaked a little, but we're still similar. Mitch, on the other hand, seems like he has a lot of differences.
Well, and one of the recurring themes, I think, when you look at this Redskins roster is, are you evaluating for potential or are you evaluating for production? And I think you're always better to look at production and include potential, certainly, but production is what matters. Actions are what matter, not words. Go ahead, Mitchell.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think our top three, I think all of our top three and our last are the same. Top being defensive ends, second being D-line, third being running backs as the top three position groups. And then
I had D-line first, then D-ends, and to me that's all about Chase Young should be the best player on this team, but he still hasn't done it yet. So
right. I guess that's where you're talking about production versus potential.
Exactly. But yeah, I that's the top three to me, and you're really splitting hairs if you want to say D-line or D-end. Pete, is that your top three also, I think?
I had D-end as my number one. I guess I gave a little more to potential than production, but I think Chase Young will be the best defender. People are snoozing on Montez Sweat, and then those two with Kerrigan I like a little better than Allen, Ioannidis, Payne, and Settle. Just a little bit.
And I think 4 through 9 are all relatively close. I think 4 through 9 are a lot closer.
Important point. We did not rank them, but to me, I think the specialists would be third or fourth. Like if we're talking Tress, Sundberg, Hopkins, Tress made the Pro Bowl. Hopkins makes 85% of his kicks or something. Sundberg has been in the NFL snapping for a decade plus. I think their position group would be third or fourth. But we're not going to include them for the sake of this exercise.
Right.
All right. So go ahead, Mitch.
My fourth, I had the wide receivers. I think Terry McLaurin is the best player on offense, and I think we saw a lot out of Steven Sims last year. Obviously, I'm excited to see what Antonio Gannon-Golden can do, not to mention Kelvin Harmon. To me, the wide receiver, I think has both the combination of potential and production. And they didn't get a lot from the quarterback position last year to help out those wide receivers put up numbers, but McLaurin was obviously great, and Sims proved himself worthy both in the run game a little bit, as that jackrabbit, and then also in the slot. So I had wide receiver at fourth.
Jackrabbit. That stood out.
Yeah.
That's too high to me. I have safeties at 4. Landon Collins has still delivered elite play in the NFL. Terry was really good for a rookie, but Landon Collins had an all-pro season his second year in the NFL. I like Sean Davis. I've been clear on that. And it's, to me, position groups are very different than players because I think – I like the depth at safety. I've always said I thought DeShazer Everett could play. Pro Football Focus, and I don't know about this one, but they had Troy Apke ranked really high last year.
I saw.
I just think Collins and Davis could play at a pretty high level. So fourth, I had the safeties. What about you, Pete?
Yeah, I had safeties.
Like, why not? It's just Terry, and then it's a whole bunch of question marks.
Right. The way I went about this, and I tried to measure for both potential production, yada yada. The way I went about it is I basically just asked myself, how would I feel about this group helping the Redskins win on Sunday? How confident do I feel? And that's how I ranked it. So I put safeties fourth. I like Landon the best. He's one of the hopefully better players on the defense, and I like what he can do with new coaching, and he's proven to be good, and I think he could be good in the future. It's a nice combo. And then Sean Davis can hopefully top out at solid, and if you have an A- player and then just a B or B- safety next to him, that's a pretty good average, especially on this team. So I like safeties as the fourth spot. But it's kind of the middle tier, as Mitch said, where the top three I like a lot, and then 4 through 7, I'm kind of like, they're okay. But safety, I think, is the most okay of the bunch.
I totally agree, Pete. I don't know if you noticed this. When I sent you my list, I had my first 3 and then just like a ton of spaces. Yeah. And then I had the rest. If you got to list these groups from 1 to 20 and you were only listing 10 things, it'd be like you have a 1, 2, 3, and then like a 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then a 19, 20, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's way
So fifth, I said linebackers. I think Thomas Davis is going to be good. I'm a believer in Thomas Davis. I think Cole Holcomb is good. John Bostic, Kevin Pierre-Louis. I do like that they all call him KPL. I'm into that. I'm into shortening things always. I think they got a bunch of guys. And Thomas Davis was a stud earlier in his career. I don't think he's still stud level. Cole Holcomb might become a stud. I'm not sure about that. And I think I don't think they're bad, but as a group, I don't think they're bad, but I'm not sure they're good. If Reuben Foster can come back healthy and play within the system, that could change that for sure. Reuben Foster, Bryce Love, Alex Smith, until I see them on a football field, not on a side field, on a football field doing football work, cleared by medical doctors, Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio have said, we're moving forward. If they're a part of this, that's great. But they have to move forward, not including those guys. So that's how I'm handling this too. Linebackers, middle of the road for me.
Same with me. I have linebackers at number 5 also. I like John Bostic is kind of a boring dude, but as your third linebacker there, as one of your 3 linebackers, I kind of like him as a boring dude. I think Thomas Davis is going to make a huge difference both in the locker room and on the field. I think his intensity and the way that he plays the game is going to go a long way with him. And you've heard the coaches talk about from the time they came in about Cole Holcomb. So you can be excited, about the kid from UNC a little bit going there. But I have linebackers at 5. I think they're right in the middle. I think you see a lot of the defense in the top half of this group because we know the defense is going to be way better than the offense.
I am lower on the linebackers than you. I have receivers at 5. Terry McLaurin is incredible, will continue to get incredible. He's the best person on this team. He's someone to build around. I am planting my flag right here. I'm planting it. And the Steven Sims is going to be a problem in 2020 camp. He's crafty, he's shifty, and in an offense where he doesn't have to convince Jay Gruden or Bill Callahan to play and sit on the bench until November, when he's playing from the beginning under Scott Turner, I think he's going to be a really useful guy. So I like those 2. And then after that, it's a little bit of a committee approach with Harmon and Gandy Golden, a little bit of Antonio Gibson here and there, and maybe a veteran they add. But that top 2, I just like them. I like them more than most people do. I'm sorry. So the receivers are 5th for me, McLaurin and Sims.
I have wideout next. I'm curious with the Sims and Antonio Gibson situation. I don't know how that's going to shake out. I think that could result in less touches for Steve, who I think is clearly a playmaker. He's shown that. I had receivers next at 6. Terry's a stud, but the rest of this group, we got to be careful not to Ashburn ourselves because there are serious question marks about all this. The way some folks are talking about a 4th-round pick out of Liberty, we probably need to relax a little bit. Terry, stud. Sims has proven he can make plays. I actually like Harmon as a possession receiver for them. He's tough. But depth, my first roster projection I put out a couple weeks ago, I have a wide receiver X because I still think they're going to find a veteran, and I don't know what this Cody Latimer situation is. Who's your sixth wideout right now? Trey Quinn, Cam Sims? I mean, those guys are
Darvin Kidsey.
Sure. I mean, it's June. Who knows? It's June and nobody's playing football, so who knows? But receiver is always fun to be excited about because those guys make flashy plays and there's videos and all that stuff. But a lot of question marks. That they are number six for me.
6. I'm going to be the first one to dip my toe in the water. I'm going QB. I think Steven Montez is going to step in, and he's going to – no. I think – I'm excited about Dwayne this year. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to lead this team. You got a second-year kid who was, 15th pick out of the draft last year. There's not a whole lot of good things on this offense, and I think that if Dwayne's able to tie everything together, I like the QB position. I like Dwayne. I think he's going to be good, and I'm throwing him at number 6.
This is the bottom half for me, so it's kind of the hold your nose area. I'm putting the O-line at 6, but they're kind of sinking. I love Brandon Sheriff. I'm not too worried about his injuries, but you have to acknowledge them. Morgan Moses was pretty bad last year. I'm keeping my eye on him. And then the left side, again, it's Wes Martin at guard and Lucas or Charles at left tackle. I know they squeaked by last year with kind of a funky little pairing on the left side, but doing that again 2 years in a row makes me nervous. So O-line's at 6, and I could see them being lower as this season progresses too.
You know what? I had O-line at 6 and QB at 7. I'm reversing that because as much as I'm going to go back and forth on potential and production, I've been pretty clear that I am bullish on Haskins. Also, here's what made me think this. When I had to do my roster projections for the O-line, it's a mess, dude. Like, nobody knows who the fourth tackle is going to be. What's Jaron Christian up to? Sadiq Charles said his workouts right now are just doing push-ups and running up a levee in Baton Rouge. Like, you going to be ready to play in the NFL as a rookie? Like, I think no offseason program for him is really going to be an issue. I think QB, ideally, and we've seen different, especially in Ashburn, you only need one guy. So, like, linebacker, wide out, that's about depth. Like, how good is your fifth guy? Because that guy's going to need to play. Ideally, a quarterback, you only need the one guy. I think Dwayne can play. So I'm going QB 6, O-line 7, because that left side of the O-line is a question mark. Depth is a question mark. I like it, Mitch. So QB at 6, O-line at 7. I'm guessing, Mitch, you had O-line at 7 too, if you had QB at 6?
Nope.
Ooh,
I got O-line down the list a little bit.
Well, Pete, so you said O-line at 6. Are you saying QB at 7, Pete?
QB is at 7 for me, and I like the argument. Just need one guy. You're right.
Right.
I'm going safety at 7.
Wow.
I think I like Landon Collins a lot. I don't know how much you're going to get out of Sean Davis. I also I want to see more out of Landon Collins. I guess last year wasn't enough, and the whole secondary wasn't good enough. So you can look at his good years in New York and hope that projects out. But I want to see it here in DC before I move him higher on the list.
Not unfair. I tell you what, I'm two guys I'm high on are Dwayne and Sean Davis. Let's check back on that in when's the bye? Halloween? We'll check back at Halloween. So 7 you have – so I don't know how much – are we up to 9?
We're up to 8.
So I went QB, O-line. I only have 2 things left. Is that right?
Shocker. I don't think so.
You're missing corner, tight end, and
those are my last 2.
Have you said receiver? You talked about receivers. Where
yeah.
Oh, great.
We're
going so strong too.
While JP's figuring that out.
No, I talked about receivers. So my list is D-line, DN, running back, safety, linebacker, wideouts, QB.
Okay.
O-line.
Okay, yeah. So you're good. You're through 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. My 8 is cornerback. Love Kendall Fuller. Have a weird little tingle about Ronald Darby, maybe able to resurrect it, but I think it's kind of like a receiver. You have one guy
That is Fuller. Complete Ashburnization, Pete.
Yeah, I mean,
avoid that tingle, bro.
He has it at number 8. It's like not complete Ashburn syndrome.
It is if you talk about he's putting the group at 8 probably because of the group's questions. But don't be tingling about Ronald Darby. Let's see it. Let's see that.
Okay. Still kind of tingling about Ronald Darby between you, me, and the listeners. Corner, yeah, it's Fuller, and then it's a bunch of guys, and I like the odds of a couple of those guys emerging to be fine. I just don't know if this unit will ever be a strength on the team. You just hope they can play behind a really good pass rush and pick off the passes that come their way, but you should never rely on this group to be your coverage, which hopefully this defense isn't going to do much of.
Yeah, at 8 I have O-line. You need the right side to be infinitely better than it was last year. As your two veterans that were there, Morgan Moses and Brandon Sheriff, have to be better. They have to be healthy. They have to not commit as many penalties or as many blown assignments. Chase Roulier is a fine center, and he's a good find as a 6th rounder, but by no means is he a stalwart there. And then you look at the left side, and it's all up in the air. I mean, I'm excited about Sadiq Charles. I think that he might be good in the future. I don't know that he's going to step – I think he's going to be your starter this season, but I don't think he's going to be an exceptionally good starter. I think that he can grow into that role.
I don't even think he starts to open the season. I think Cornelius Lucas has that job early, and then Charles wins that job eventually.
I think it depends on what this preseason stuff looks like, camp and whatnot. If they're able to do a full training camp, then I think it's a little more up in the air. If it's shortened kind of in any way, then I agree. I think Cornelius Lucas probably takes it. And obviously you guys know I can talk for a while.
Right.
O-line
speed round. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I've given all my numbers already. I have corners at 9. I have tight ends at 10. So I think we all agree tight end is 10, right? I like Thaddeus Moss. I think he can play, but I mean you're an undrafted guy and you're coming off a foot injury. Maybe Logan Thomas will be a pleasant surprise.
You talk about Ashburning, like you can be excited about Thaddeus Moss and maybe you can tingle about him a little bit, but let's not forget he was undrafted and didn't have a ton of production in college. He's got a great name and obviously made some big plays in some big games, but if you're getting on Pete about tingling about Ronald Darby, I think that if you're going to tingle about Thaddeus Moss, it's the same boat.
Didn't I just said all those things though, that he was – I said I like Thaddeus Moss, but he was undrafted. He's coming off a foot injury. Didn't I say that?
Yeah, you qualified it. Tight end is really bad. I don't know how they made it through this offseason, and this is the group they have, but they're doing it, so good luck to them. I have linebacker at 9. I like Thomas Davis. I'm excited to cover him. I just don't know if he's going to be very good, and I'm pretty low on John Bostic, Sean Dion Hamilton, KPL, those guys. Cole Holcomb is the only linebacker I think is worth keeping here a long time at this point as we stand here on June 7th.
Between SDH and KPL, the linebacker group is going to get confusing.
And JHC.
I don't think
on the front.
I think JHC is on the outside looking in. Jack Del Rio, JDR didn't even mention him when he lists it off like 6, 7.
JHC might be SOL.
ASAP. All right, that was good. That's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of stuff on this, so buckle up.
Yeah.
2 weeks
Pete, I know. Pete, you had a good blog on the uniform stuff. That is – I'm not that big of a uniform guy. I think it's cool how into it a lot of fans are. That one dude comes up with all these Photoshops. It's pretty – DC Sports PXP or something. I wish I got the Instagram handle right. But this stuff is cool. I don't think they're going to get too exotic like some of these things, but clearly I think Del Rio wanting the white on white, stuff like that, like – this is very different than for where Bruce wouldn't let him do anything. So I think there will be – and I think from a business side, like the marketing guys, I think they would love that. Like it's just like – people get caught up in like selling jerseys and stuff, but if we get to week 11 and let's just assume fans are coming to games and stuff, like it's something to talk about in what could be a 4-7 team. Hey, they're debuting the – throwbacks with different helmets, like the NFL also has crazy rules about the helmets. You're not allowed to do a lot of this stuff, but it's still fun.
Look what the University of Maryland did with their jerseys. They ended up with the 37 different combinations of jerseys, and it wasn't necessarily to sell jerseys, although that was a nice byproduct of it. It was to get some excitement around the program, get the kids to be to be into it. I think you'd get the same thing from the Redskins if they're able to move things around in the jersey front.
But that's college football, and they don't have the restrictions the NFL
Right.
does. But I get the greater point. Where can the people find that story, Pete?
Yeah, thank you for the plug. NBCSportsWashington.com. Also on my Twitter at Pete Hailey NBCS. Basically, just you see Twitter mock-ups of Redskins jerseys all the time. So these are fan-designed things. Some of them were really badass, so I ranked 6 of them, and I loved 5, and one of them was gross and ugly, but the other 5 were great. So go check it out on our website, NBC Sports Washington, where I rank jerseys that don't even exist. It's peak June content.
I love when you do content like that. Like, that's where you excel. I was glad to see that blog. I actually read it, which is
you put it on your Facebook and everything. Yeah, you like quoted it. You were into it, so thank you. It meant a lot. Yeah,
I'm glad when you do good things. All right, we got to go. I want to thank Oarsman Automotive of Virginia one more time, and I'm hosting for Chad twice this week, on Wednesday and Friday. Yeah, so I don't know, dude. I have to fill 4.5 hours of radio.
Holy
That's a lot.
crap.
That's a lot of radio.
It's just you. It's not you and another host.
I don't know, but I think it's just me. So maybe I'll see if I can get you guys on there. We'll see what happens.
Are you going from the studio? You doing it from home?
Yeah, we'll see. It should be fun. All right, we'll be back. Yeah, got to go in studio. Which honestly, I'm fired up about. Just to go to an office and I'll wear my mask and see landfill. It'll be fun. Pod schedule might be a little funky. We may or may not have a new pod until Thursday night because I think the interview we're getting Thursday is important enough to put it out. But I guess we could maybe do that for Sunday's pod. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Tune in on Thursday.
You watch Thursday, 5 o'clock, Facebook Live. We're going to put it all over our social media. Glad Pete is moving back to Maryland or DC.
Yeah, that'll be my last thing I do in Michigan is that Facebook Live, and then Friday I'm moving my girlfriend back to DC. She got an apartment, so I'll be back on the East Coast. I hope I remember how it works and all those big tall buildings out there. I hope I don't get scared.
I mean, that there aren't that many tall buildings here, right? Like nothing can be higher than Washington.
I was just doing a stupid like Midwest versus East Coast bit, and it wasn't funny or useful. So kind of.
You know what direction you're going to be going to come back?
Yeah, down and to the right.
Just don't go left.
Yeah.
Isn't it like if you're coming down, you make a left?
Yeah, I'm just looking.
Like if you're going that direction, yes, but the general direction is down and to the right.
But do you know, like, on a compass, which directions you're going?
I'm basically driving southeast.
There you go. Good job, dude.
Thank you.
And just for all the people, I know that our friends at Harrah's keep pretty good odds on this, so I just want to keep the. Actually, I think it's MGM to keep the odds on this.
Yes, they do.
I want the odds makers to have all the information in the who will get married first bet between Mitch and Pete. Mitch still single, chilling at his condo, doing his thing. Pete moving, maybe not cross country, but halfway across the country with his girlfriend into her new apartment. He's now watching 90 Day Fiance and talking about we have 2 incomes. So
House Hunters also.
The odds makers might want to adjust these lines a little bit. Yeah,
I made
Pete's
like
life is starting to resemble my life.
I made a lot of trips to the grocery store this week and didn't hate any of them. It was fun. I'm like comparing tomatoes, finding good deals on Pop-Tarts. Like I'm kind of domestic right now, very domestic.
Pete's going to be couponing before we know it.
I don't even know what that means.
Quilting.
Oh yeah.
Yo, with a second property, you might need to coupon.
I don't know. I may not stop at this property. I like the idea of having 2. I might try and get a 3rd and really diversify myself.
But Pete, like when we talked, so everybody knows Pete had some financial decisions to make, and Mitch and I were just trying to give him some friendly pointers. The 3 of us are very close. I think we kind of were trying to give him some older brother type advice. Definitely. And there's something important that I do think you missed, Pete. When people talk about the term house poor, is generally when they own the house, not when they're renting.
Yeah.
When you're renting multiple properties, you don't have multiple properties. You are renting multiple properties.
Look, all I'm going to say is these next 5 months when I'm paying full rent on one and some rent on the other, and for a parking space I'm not really going to be using and a cat fee that isn't going to really be my problem, I'm not going to be happy. But the back end, when I move into that apartment with her in December, it's going to be lovely. So I just got to get through this first half and get to the second half.
And we know Pete loves the back end, so we'll go from there.
We got to go. We have to go immediately. We are definitely going to do a Pete finance review before too long, because
absolutely
things are going to get interesting for our guy. Thank you all very much for listening. I hope everybody's staying safe. Be smart. We are thinking about you. Good God, we hope to hang out someday soon. Thank you to Oarsman Automotive of Virginia. And if you made it this far, I owe you a beer.